joining. I'm streaming myself tonight. I know a lot of you usually are used to Chad and I doing this together. Chad has a bunch of stuff to do at work. So I am here basically just to say hello and talk to you guys directly. I'm here in my garage, obviously, in front of my car. And as most of you probably know, it's been a pretty interesting last few hours, 24 hours to be exact. First and foremost, thoughts to the Buffalo Bills player as well, who suffered a cardiac arrest on field last night during the Monday Night Football game. I believe his name is Damar Hamlin. So thoughts and prayers to his family and his teammates and everything like that, because that happened as well. And then no more than I believe 30 minutes later, we all received word that Ken Block had died. And it's a pretty crazy time, especially for car enthusiasts. And what a horrible way to start 2023, as if the last 3 years have not been crappy enough. Now we lose the motorsport legend, Ken Block. So I wanted to come on here and talk with you guys. I'm streaming on Facebook, our Facebook channel. If you're watching from there, welcome. I'm also streaming on our second YouTube channel, Shifting Lanes Garage. So wherever you're watching from, welcome and thanks for joining me. I appreciate it as always. Now, what I'm going to do here is what I want to do, and please stay with me on both platforms because I want to explain what I want to do. The first thing I want to do, first and foremost, is turn this into sort of a support for something that Ken wanted, or Ken had basically done in the past. If you're watching and you want to send us a donation, now the way to do that on YouTube is to do it through Super Thanks, or I'm not exactly sure how to do it on YouTube, but if you want to send a donation, that would be great for YouTube. But on Facebook, you can do something called Stars. It's a digital gift that helps us kind of make more content for you guys. But I'm not interested in that tonight. What I want to do is I want to take all the money we use or get from this stream and donate it to one of Ken's charities that he actually did something with in the past. In 2020, he gave away a car with Barrett Jackson. Not gave it away, but he gave one of his cars to Barrett Jackson to auction off for money, and they ended up making $200,000. We're not going to make $200,000 tonight, obviously, but if you want, you can donate any money to us, and all of the money from this stream will go directly to that charity that Ken teamed up with Barrett Jackson. It's called Team Rubicon. I'm actually going to drop the link to Team Rubicon about what it is in the chat on Facebook and on YouTube. So, it's not just like a thing. I'm not trying to scam you or anything. This is a legit thing. So here is the link on Facebook chat. And also I'll do it on YouTube. So basically it is veterans, and they help with disaster relief and tragedy relief. And considering that this is a tragedy, I thought it was a very appropriate thing to do. So if you feel like donating, all of the proceeds from tonight will not be coming to us at all. It will be going to Team Rubicon in Ken Block's name, because I think that's only the most appropriate thing to do. The thing I want to do tonight is basically talk with you guys, because as I've learned in the last couple of years, it is very paramount to have a support system in place. And the whole reason we started this stream was to connect with you guys more, either our subscribers or people that just found us randomly from us sharing memes on Facebook, or sharing, fun car things on YouTube that we do with, obviously this car behind me, or, Chad's Mustang or Hanson's Veloster N, or any of the automotive reviews we do. But this is a support chat. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I want to talk with you. I want to be open with you. And I want to make sure that we as a car community have a support system, because a lot of the times people don't have that support system, and it really helps to talk things out. I'm not trying to be a therapist. I'm just trying to be your friend. So, and that's the whole goal of tonight, is to talk about Ken Block and what he meant to everybody. And if you have a story, type it out and put it in chat. I want to hear it. I want to read it back to everyone so that they can hear it and share it, because Ken Block is one of the reasons that a lot of us got in to cardom at all. Back in 2008, they released the first Gymkhana, and that was a lot of what people, at least modern car culture, sort of started to revolve around a little bit. It was, and I guess this is a good place to start because this is my story about Ken Block, and I wanted to share it with you guys tonight. And hopefully, you guys can share a story with me as well in chat. We just got a couple of stars on YouTube. Steve sent 100 stars, and Christian sent 200. Thank you guys so much. If no matter what you donate tonight, it's all going to Team Rubicon charity. So I appreciate you guys supporting them and supporting the memory of Ken Block as well for that. So I guess I'll share my story first, and then I will get to your comments and a lot of that. So back in 2008, YouTube was still not really a thing, and if you go back on the Hoonigan channel and Ken Block's channel, you'll be able to see like the first Gymkhana, and it was raw. It's nothing like it is today, because today is like hyper produced. They have all the craziest stuff and all the craziest cameras, the best angles, multi takes and everything like that. Back then, it was basically just GoPros and maybe like a handheld, sort of like how we do it on YouTube now, because we're low budget. And basically, what that was the start of it all, because in 2008 YouTube still wasn't really a thing yet. It was a thing, but it wasn't like it is today. YouTube, a lot of people treat as TV. So Ken Block was really essential in starting the car culture on YouTube. A great example was Damon from Daily Driven Exotics. He had said in a post recently that the whole reason he started Daily Driven Exotics was because of Ken Block and that Gymkhana series. He wanted to start a brand that said, oh, I'm going to do cool things with cool cars. And he released a Gymkhana with his Lamborghini Gallardo that he had bought, through his business that he had done in the past. So part of Daily Driven Exotics being a thing on YouTube, no matter what you think of him, is because of Ken Block. And that's a huge thing. So my biggest story was I got introduced to Ken Block. I think it was Gymkhana 5, or whatever the one from San Francisco was. And I'd never heard about Ken Block really before then. And I watched that video, and I was always a car enthusiast, but I really think my car enthusiasm went to a new level that day because I'd never seen anything like it. They shut down basically a city to rally through it, do cool stunts, and it was mind blowing, especially when you talk about what it was for the platform that it was on. It wasn't something that was produced for, a Top Gear style BBC or ABC or anything like that. And that's where you sort of saw all the car specials, in the early aughts to 2010, right? And they did that on YouTube, and it was definitely totally game changing. As for me, for the San Francisco one, but for Gymkhana in general, the whole thing was just insane. And I think that was a seminal moment for me in my life, because then I was able to utilize that to really start shifting lanes and start this passion project. And I'm sure it was the same for a lot of you guys, where you saw a Gymkhana video or another video with Ken Block or something that was trying to emulate him, right? And then your enthusiasm sort of grew. And the reason why there's 36 people watching this now and a couple on YouTube is because you saw Ken Block in the title, and now you're hearing a story about it from someone else. And that's sort of how it all connects. He was very much the transitional figure from Top Gear with Clarkson, Hammond, and May, with traditional media, if you will, broadcasting on BBC and then blasting it out to other places, to like new media, like we have with YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and all that stuff. So it is a tragedy to see him gone. But I don't want to dwell on how this is, this is bad, because it's horrible and it is a tragedy. But because Ken Block lived, we all have more enthusiasm for cars, I believe. Like and I'll close my sort of side of this because this is going to be just a short thing for me. I want to hear from you guys. So please type out your answers and leave them in chat because I want to read your stories as well. Was the whole thing, whenever someone passes away, whether it be a celebrity, a sports figure, everyone always mourns, the person they were and remembers the person they were, but there's always something that's like either bad about their life or weird about their life. They weren't the greatest person, but oh, they were great for, this period of time. So I'm going to remember that period of time. Great example of that was Michael Jackson. When he died, everyone remembered him for what he was sort of in the 70s and 80s, not for what he became as this sort of very controversial figure in many different ways, right? Everything I've seen in the last 24 hours, there hasn't been one single thing from anyone that said Ken Block was a bad person or he was a total dick on this shoot or whatever or anything like that, or he fooled people into joining Hoonigan because he was this larger than life figure and wanted to do this, that, and the other thing. Everyone said he was the most down-to-earth, nicest person. And I've never seen that happen before, ever, when someone passes away. There's always something someone says that's like, oh, well, he wasn't too great or blah, 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 blah. Not a single person has said a bad thing about him. And I think that speaks volumes to who Ken Block was, what the legacy that he left was, and just that we're better people for him being here from a automotive perspective. So it was a huge shock for all of us, and Ken Block, rest in peace. But I do want to say one thing, as a dad, it hurts when I see news that a child had passed. But I want to say to his family and especially to his kids, as a dad, we're all here for you as an automotive community. You'll never see this, but I wanted to, just in the off chance that it makes its way to them, we're here for you. As an automotive community, we are a family, and it doesn't matter who you are. We'll always rally around each other. So we are here for you. We'll never go away because cardom will live on until there are no more cars, until there are just flying things. So we're here for you, and we love you guys. And that's it. That's all I really wanted to say was I remember Ken Block as being this larger than life figure, and he helped me become more of a car enthusiast. And we're here for his family regardless. So let's go to some of the comments that you guys are talking about, because I really want to see some of the stories that you've put down, and then we'll just get into just a normal chat. Steve, welcome. Thank you. Justin, welcome. Thank you. No, I'm not using Chat's computer again. I'm just using my own. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties in the last few weeks, so it's just me streaming tonight on my own rig, so we're good. And if you're just joining us, or if you're not watching and you've been watching, if you just joined us, whatever, we are collecting money during the stream. If you want to, you can donate to us on YouTube or on Facebook through stars or YouTube Super Thanks. And all the money that we get tonight, we're going to donate directly to Team Rubicon, which is a charity that Ken had worked with in the past for veterans. They help during, they continue their service basically to help families and do disaster relief in time of tragedy. So thought it was a very appropriate charity, and we'll match whatever you guys give us tonight. So hopefully we can make it to like a couple $100, which would be great. If not, whatever, we're still going to donate it, and we'll donate at least a minimum of $100 to Team Rubicon. So with that said, hello everyone. The Bills player was wild to watch live. Yes, I wasn't watching live, but DeMar Hamlin, yeah, I saw what happened. Very scary. I hope he makes a full recovery, and prayers and thoughts to him and his family as well. A lot of us are hurting from Ken Block's death. Yes, absolutely. It was very sudden, obviously. A lot of people, I mean, no one really expected it. The guy was only 55, and he sent it literally all the time. I mean, he was the definition of, I'm just going to send it, because he literally did. Like if you go to the guy's Instagram or his Facebook page, he's constantly doing like extreme stuff, and not like, crazy bad extreme stuff, but like extreme sports. Like he died in a snowmobile accident. He was snowmobiling. He's constantly on the mountain, skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling. doing a ton of just doing a ton of like things that we could only dream about doing, and he would do it like all the time with his family. Go crazy car driving, do this, that, and the other thing. Is it's a lot, and he sent it hard every day of his life, and that's cool. And unfortunately, that's what took his life. But it's it's tragic, but that's what happened, unfortunately. But he will be remembered as the guy that really sort of brought automotive culture into the digital age. Again, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Justin, for the stars. Definitely that will go towards Team Rubicon. Appreciate it. Jesse, what's up? Thanks for joining. Caden has Caden Kaplinger has a story. I watched Ken Block for over half my life. He's so inspirational about everything. He's such a caring person towards everyone. That's what I've been hearing basically from everyone. It is one of those things where, again, there's not a ton of negatives from anyone I'm hearing, like at all. I didn't hear. I haven't heard anything bad, and I've never have heard anything bad. I've never met the guy, but those that have met him have said he's like the nicest, most down to earth person, and it is sad that that kind of person had to go because not that bad people should go. That's not what I'm saying, but it's someone that nice, that down to earth, that was so instrumental in bringing so many people so much joy in the car community. Like that it sucks. It really does suck. Let's see. Steve, I cried when I saw the news of Ken's passing on Hoonigan's Insta. Yeah, honestly, I fully admit that as well. I had tears in my eyes. I welled up, and it was just not. It was just it sucks, man. This stinks. Caden with another comment. I have watched every video, and he was an amazing person. He always had a smile on his face, even if he blew up his car. He will always smile. That's true, and he was also pretty soft spoken too. If you go back and watch some of the this versus that videos on Hoonigan's channel, you'll see that is he's very soft spoken. He's not like constantly going out, going like crazy. Like a lot of his team is like the rowdy stuff, but he was always like very soft spoken in the back. He's never like interviewing people or going up front. He was always just like the driver and stuff. But that's who he was apparently in real life as well. So yeah. Let's see. Hope his daughter continues his legacy. I agree. I hope, and she's an amazing driver as well. She's a champion driver. I think that. I mean, I think she'll continue. Leah's 16. She is very good at what she does, and she's a wrench too. She knows what she's doing. So I think that. I think that she'll continue. Steve, Ken is one of the reasons I fell in love with Subaru and rallying because besides Colin McRae. Yeah, same. Colin McRae was the reason I got into rallying. I love Subarus. And I owned a Subaru, a while ago. But Colin McRae was really the reason I started to get into rallying and love it. And then by extension, I knew of like Travis Pastrana and Ken Block, Sebastian Auger, and then like the whole modern WRC from like the early 2000s. That was really like my favorite part of rallying, was seeing all those people do that. And then I actually got to experience one with Toyota, which was really cool. That's a cool story. I was actually on a VinWiki video, and I told that story. But I went up to Maine, up to Sunday River, and did the New England Forest Rally with Toyota, and that was a lot of fun. But I got to see rallying firsthand, and just like the determination, the smarts that these guys have about their cars, about driving, they really are just a different breed. And Matt Farah just wrote a great article about Ken Block on Road and Track, and you guys should all go read it. I think he wrote it last night, but published it like early this morning. That a lot of people that are in motor racing, they their skills translate very well if you go from rallying to other stuff, but from other stuff to rallying does not translate that well. A lot of people cannot make the transition, just because it's difficult to do it. Like if you watch those videos, it is nuts, and some people just don't have that sort of like it factor for rallying. So they are really a different breed, and Ken definitely was for sure part of that. Um, let's see. Feel so bad for his wife and kids. Yeah, agree. Hopefully, a block pursues her father's legacy and takes the 43 over. I do too. I really do too. But it's one of those things where well, it remains to be seen, and I don't even want to speculate because it's less than 24 hours or just over 24 hours after the news even broke. So who even knows? Um, Going to get a tattoo of Ken for a tribute to him. I think that's great. I think you should definitely do any sort of uh, any sort of tribute to him. And this was the best thing I could think of, honestly. Like it hit me really hard because he's such a seminal figure in a lot of people's lives. And thinking back on why I became a car enthusiast in the first place, obviously, like my dad was instrumental in that. Like he's a big car enthusiast, and he got me into cars. That's why I became a Formula One fan. But the whole reason we started shifting lanes, at least the whole reason I started shifting lanes, was because I was looking for a new car and I wanted to write reviews about them. And I'm like, well, let's just start a website. Why not? So Chad and Hanson were the three car people out of our friend group were like, yeah, let's just start a website. So we have a website. It's still alive. We don't really do much with it anymore because we're more focused on video. But that was part of the whole reason I started shifting lanes, and a lot of that got into me being into Ken Block's videos and rallying because the car that I ended up buying was that 2014 Subaru WRX, and that was sort of why I bought it because of like Colin McRae, because of like the Subaru rally heritage, and because of Ken Block's Gymkhana videos. At the time, he was driving around in a Subaru WRX. That's cool, and that's part of the reason why I got the car. So there's a lot of interconnectivity there for me. So it hit me very hard, and it's just really sad. But I want to hear from you guys. We need more. We need more stories from you about what was your favorite. What was your favorite Ken Block memory? Because I want to hear what your favorite Ken Block memory is, because that I think is the best way to pay tribute to him. Is just remembering the good. Having this as sort of all is negative, and it sucks. It sucks. It's just the way it is. But I want to make it positive because he was always so positive and always had like you see, like one of you guys said, like Caden said, always had a smile on his face. Um, I think that we should, Chad, 25, 200 or 2,500 stars sent for Ken and the charity. I appreciate that. Chad obviously can't be on stream, but I appreciate that, brother. Each star is basically a penny, so that's 20. That's $25. So we're gonna match that and send it to the send it that. Uh, Jesse, what's up? I'll have to come back and watch this. I'm driving home from Cali right now. Wildman Speedcraft, that's one of our oldest supporters and watchers, Jesse Wildman. What's up, Jesse? I appreciate you chiming in and watching, even if later. But yeah, share your when you Ken Block memory. I really want to see what your guys' favorite Ken Block memories were. I'm just trying. I'm just clicking around, seeing if there's anything new that we could share with you guys. I'm broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. I can't do like a screen share for you guys at all, unfortunately. But the uh, the biggest thing for me is just to keep his memory alive. Like, and again, uh, going back to that Matt Farah article. If you've ever done a donut or a burnout or slid your car in the snow, like you didn't have to meet Ken Block. Like you got Ken Block, and that's really an interesting thing because a lot of these celebrities and people pass on and you don't really have that like special connection with them even though you didn't know them. Some people do connect with them on a different level, like, oh, I saw their movie and it like really changed my life, and like you connect to them on that level. But this is something like cars really are like, especially for like enthusiasts, cars are really this connective tissue that a lot of people know and think about and love. And there's a lot of hate in the car community between, like stance and this, that, and the other thing. A million horsepower versus no horsepower. Oh, your Miata is stupid because it's, hairdresser's car. Your EV stupid because it's, it's whatever. But honestly, like we all love, if you're an enthusiast, like we all love cars, and all cars are cool in some respect. Like even if you don't like EVs, there's no denying the fact that the EV that Ken Block drove in Electricana was badass. Like, I'm sorry, but if you don't agree with that, you're just wrong. So there is something there for everyone with Ken Block, and especially with cars. And I think that with what he brought to the table was really the next sort of Top Gear, right? Like we had that second generation of Top Gear with Clarkson, Hammond, and May, and that was so huge in the 2000s. And then as the 2000s and 2010s sort of wore on, like they got bigger and bigger, but again, it was sort of that traditional media sort of getting phased out a little bit. They got big on streaming platforms, but what was the next thing? The next thing is, and it was and still is kind of YouTube, and they're still on an upward trajectory. And who was the person that showed that we can be enthusiasts and be part of that, right? And it was sort of Ken Block. Like everyone that wanted to be Clarkson, Hammond, and May grabbed their phone, grabbed a camera, and made a YouTube video, right? And that's sort of what Ken Block did, but he turned it to 11 because it wasn't just about presenting the cars. It was more about doing stuff with the cars and being part of the action. And he brought that to the next level and inspired just like everyone because of it. So I think that's really cool. Doug sending 500 stars. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Um, do you have any information about how he died? Like, did the snowmobile crush him? I cannot speak to that. Um, I don't know, and I'm not sure if there's any information about that, nor would I want to share that, quite frankly. I think that should be a private matter. And if you are interested in that, please go search it on your own. I will not be looking it up, nor will I want to find out. Chad, thank you for joining with a comment. Appreciate that, my friend. Chad will be back on next week. Ken showed the world it is okay to have fun with cars and inspired a generation of enthusiasts. Every single car tuber owes their livelihood to guys like Ken. Couldn't agree more. We owe him more than can ever be put into words. Also, couldn't agree more. The man is an inspiration, and even though I never met him, I will miss him immensely. Totally agree. It is a huge, it's a huge loss, and I don't think anyone put it better than so far than Chad. That's we all knew him without knowing him, because if you watch one of his videos, you knew what to expect. You knew that it was going to be fun, and I mean, every YouTuber or every car enthusiast sort of has like a time when they've made a video, and there's a bad video, right? Everyone has, a video where they're like, oh, I don't want to make it, or that one just kind of stunk. I don't think that any single video that Ken ever made was bad, or he had like low energy or just didn't want to do it. Everything was good. There's not a single one of those that was just bad in the sense that like, oh, you're just trying to get views. It was more of just like he just wanted to do it and did it, and that was really cool. So that was it. I kind of wanted to just come on and say that. But again, if you guys have more stories about remembering him, that's the whole point of this stream, is to remember him. So if you guys have any stories, please leave them in the comments. I don't see any on YouTube, and I hope I'm not missing that. It's mostly everyone just sort of chatting on Facebook, which is fine, and that's great, and I appreciate that. So I hope you guys do share more stories, because you can, once this sort of goes, once these streams kind of go down, they'll live on as just VODs on the channels that they're on. So on Facebook and on YouTube on Shifting Its Garage, you'll have, you can still comment on everything. So don't think that you can't comment later. But yeah, it's a sad day, and I wish I could be bringing you like fun, cool car news, because that's what this whole stream is about, to connect with you guys more. But this was the best thing I can think of, honestly. I can't think of uh, uh, any other way to connect with you guys or connect with the car community in general about this than doing this. This is the best I have. And to have a platform to at least be able to speak about it. I could write something, but this is a better way, I think, to be able to chat with you guys. And I know it's just me sort of talking at you, but that's again the whole reason why we have the chat is so that you guys can converse with me and converse with each other about this whole thing. And again, just to have like a support group here for it. So, I don't know. Talking it out a little bit on here is definitely, even just in these 30 minutes, has helped me a lot with it. Because I'm sort of struggling with it as well. Like it's sort of a interesting time for people on YouTube or streamers or whatever, because it's becoming such this huge thing, and the biggest figure of new age digital car enthusiasm has just passed away. So like, what do we do now, kind of thing. And that's, I don't know. To me, it's just one of those I don't really know what's going to happen scenarios, and it's scary because there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on online, and you had these figures to look up to, and one of them's gone, and that sucks. So I guess that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on here and say that, and we did get a bunch of support. So we're gonna when I make that donation to Team Rubicon, I will post it here on the Shifting Lanes channel. I'll also post it on the Shifting Lanes Garage channel, and let you guys know that what we did donate to that, and we're doing it in Ken's name. So this is not like just a cash grab for us. Please do not think that at all. It's more of just like, I wanted to remember him in the best way possible. This is sort of the best way I could think of, and donating something in his name is also the best way I can think of it. And Chad just shared something in the Facebook chat, which is great. One of our first YouTube videos ever is my attempt to do is an attempt to do cool stuff like Ken. Nowhere near him, but hey, I think it's basically Chad doing a handbrake turn in the snow, or a burnout in the snow, basically, with his old car. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for coming on and just being here for me, and hopefully I was here for you for a little bit and not just entertained you, but gave you some sort of we're all sort of feeling this together, and that's sort of the whole point. So that was it. Just wanted to share my thoughts, and I hope you are all going through it and taking the time to process it the way you should be, and you have every right to. So don't think that because you're feeling a certain emotion you shouldn't feel that. You should, and that's just part of being human. So that's it. I'll leave it there. I hope next week we have some better news. Chad will be back next week. We'll do another supporter topic. One of our supporters, Aaron, has a topic for next week. And then we're going to go back to our supporter list of other topics to go through. And then also next week, you guys are going to help us actually choose a piece of Chad's car. Chad, our other guy that's usually on here, is building a 700 wheel horsepower Mustang. And you guys are going to actually choose a piece of the car that will go on. So come back next week for that. We'll be back on Monday next week at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, it'll be for his S550 Mustang. So if you have any S550 Mustang rear wings or other ideas, definitely save them and pitch them in chat next week. And last thing I will say is Austin Bowman just commented, really needed this. Thank you for your thoughts and time. And you're welcome. Even if it's just one person that says that made this whole thing very, very worthwhile, even if it's just a 34-minute video of just chatting with you guys. So thank you so much. You guys are the best. Appreciate all your continued support. And rest in peace to Ken Block, and thoughts and prayers with his family. And I will catch you guys next week. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Cheers. Bye.